You won't believe what I just heard. They say grow your own vegetables because you never know if the store-bought vegetables have received the drainage water all along to nourish this faster. First, it's gross. Second, we know nothing. So come with me and let's find out if that's really true. The story begins with a seed no bigger than a sesame grain, pale, flat, and almost unremarkable. Yet inside that tiny speck lies a genetic roadmap that determines everything from how spicy or sweet the pepper will be, to how thick its skin grows, to the exact shade of red it'll turn under the sun. All red peppers are actually green peppers at first. They're the same fruit, just at different stages of ripeness. The green pepper is the immature version. It turns yellow, orange, and then finally red as it ripens. That red color isn't just pretty, it's a sign of transformation. As the chlorophyll breaks down, sugars rise and antioxidants like lycopene and capsaicin flood in, giving it that signature hue and sweet flavor. The Netherlands, with its limited land and cool climate, manages to grow tons of red peppers using high-tech hydroponic greenhouse systems where, interestingly, the plants don't even touch soil. Now, peppers are greedy feeders, and their nutritional demand changes as they grow. In the early stages, they need nitrogen for leaf development. The mid-stage calls for potassium to boost fruiting, and the late stage demands calcium for firmness and color intensity. Once they're cut from the stem, their internal sugar and pigment development stops completely. Farmers look for an 80 to 100% color change, meaning the fruit has transitioned fully from green to red with a uniform shine. Brix meters, those handheld refractometers you might have seen, are used to measure sweetness. A good red bell pepper should register a Brix value of around 7 to 9, signaling the right sugar level. The peppers tumble gently through rotating drums, rinsed multiple times. After washing, they pass under air knives, which are high-speed air blowers that remove excess moisture. In modern plants, grading is done by machines that can inspect up to 20 peppers per second using cameras and sensors. They analyze size, color, and surface defects. Based on the data, robotic arms or pneumatic air puffs direct each pepper into its assigned chute. So grade A peppers often go to fresh packaging lines, but grade B and C peppers are usually diverted for steamed, roasted or diced processing. Now, before steaming, many factories perform a temperature shock step. Peppers are briefly submerged in cold water, usually around 5 degrees Celsius, to firm the skin and lock in that vibrant color. It's honestly one of the most fascinating transformations in the world of pepper processing, a method that, combines chemistry and engineering. At first glance, boiling peppers might seem easier. Just dump them in hot water, wait a few minutes, and you're done. But, there's a problem. Boiling leaches away almost everything valuable in the pepper. Vitamin C, for instance, is extremely heat-sensitive and water-soluble. When peppers are boiled, up to 60% of that vitamin C simply disappears into the water. Steaming, on the other hand, cooks the peppers with moisture around them, not through them. There's no water contact, no leaching, and the temperature can be precisely controlled. The result? The skin loosens just enough to peel away easily, while the inner flesh softens without collapsing. The natural sugars caramelize ever so slightly, enhancing sweetness, while nutrients remain intact. First comes destemming and coring. High-speed rotary cutters slice off the stem caps while a cylindrical vacuum tool scoops out the seed core. The remaining cavity is flushed with water jets to ensure no seeds remain, because even a few stray seeds can create bitterness during storage. Typical steaming temperature is around 95 to 98 degrees Celsius, depending on pepper thickness. Duration varies too. Small strips may need just 2 to 3 minutes, while thicker halves can take up to 8 minutes. Where did the ice cream sandwich even come from? Believe it or not, the very first known version popped up in New York City in the summer of 1899. Yes, it's that old. Street vendors dressed in white aprons sold slabs of vanilla ice cream pressed between 2 thin graham wafers for just a penny. No branding, no fancy packaging, just a cool handheld treat to beat the heat. By the 1920s, rectangular chocolate cookies had replaced wafers, and the shape we all recognize today, flat, neat rectangles with creamy centers, began to dominate. Fast forward to today, and ice cream sandwiches have grown into a multi-billion-dollar industry. Factories around the world turn out millions of these treats every day. They're so popular that in the United States alone, more than 200 million ice cream sandwiches are sold annually. making it one of the top-selling frozen novelties. So, the process begins not with ice cream, but with ingredients collection. Without milk, sugar, wheat, and cocoa, you simply can't make a sandwich. And, the supply chain is global. Milk powder and cream often come from large dairy farms in the United States, New Zealand, or parts of Europe where cows graze on lush pastures. Everything is carefully checked in quality control labs. Flour is tested for protein content, sugar is screened for particle size and purity, milk is analyzed for fat percentage, and cocoa is inspected for moisture levels. If even one ingredient doesn't meet the standard, it's rejected. Big factories can't risk producing millions of sandwiches with a flaw. The loss would be enormous. Factories actually store these ingredients differently depending on how they'll be used. The basic ingredients are milk, cream, sugar, and stabilizers. Factories often use skim milk powder instead of relying solely on fresh milk. Why? Because powder allows precise control over solids content, and it stores for months without spoiling. Fresh cream or condensed milk is then added back to adjust the fat level. For sandwich ice cream, fat content usually sits around 10%, just enough for creaminess, but not so high that it oozes out when you bite into it. Factories don't make ice cream sandwiches one by one. They build them in synchronized flows where every cookie, every stream of ice cream, every wrapper has its place. The cool chocolate biscuits that were stacked earlier are automatically loaded into hoppers,